Good morning. My name is Michael Gutierrez, and I am the president at Sacramento City College, and it is a lovely morning. And I'd like to begin by recognizing a few people. I'd like to recognize Assemblymember McCarty, Assemblymember Medina, Assemblymember Santiago, and Senator Leyva for their tireless work in providing access to higher education for all Californians. To our Assembly members, senators, our students, and other allies, our State Chancellor Eloy Oakley, thank you for addressing such a critical topic as what we're doing for the Debt-Free College Rally. We are here to urge the legislature and Governor Newsom to adopt the debt-free plan, which will have an immediate impact on low and middle income students. These students don't always get the necessary financial aid to close the cost of attendance. And without the ability to close the cost of attendance, students have to decide to either rack up a lot of debt, pay out of their pockets, or choose not to go to college at all. The debt-free college plan is yet another way to increase success for Californians wanting to attend college. It's truly my honor to introduce our next guest, which is Assemblymember Kevin McCarty. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Done a great job here. We're going to miss you in Sacramento, but I know the Salinas Valley will have an outstanding community college leader in a few months. So we're excited to be here today. You guys excited, students? Who wants to get rid of that college student debt? Well, you know what? We are here to say that we are making it happen. California can be the first state in the nation with a true debt-free college plan if we adopt the budget that's right now being debated in the Senate and the Assembly. Won't be overnight, but by adopting this plan, we will expand free community college, like right here at Sacramento City College, to make sure everybody, full-time students, have free community college. We will expand the Cal Grant program to help students who are just outside of their eligibility, because we know sometimes you need a PhD to understand the FAFSA form and how to get a Cal Grant. And lastly, we will address the issue of our generation. Too many students get aid for free tuition, and they still graduate with $20,000, $30,000 in debt. How is that, you may ask? College is way more expensive than I went to school. We have housing costs, we have transportation, we have food and books. And so, yes, California has the envy with our Cal Grant program, but doesn't cover the true cost of college for so many UC, CSU, and especially our community college students. So with us this week, we have a plan that the Senate and the Assembly have embraced. We're negotiating this week with the governor, asking that all parties come together and include this plan in our final state budget. And this will be a game changer for families across our state. We know that college is the ticket to the middle class and a good career and a way to take care of your family. But more importantly, California needs college graduates like people behind us to fulfill the jobs of today and tomorrow. We have a degree gap of about 2 million people waiting to fill these jobs. So we need our students behind us to graduate within 4 years. And you can do so if you don't have to borrow so much money. You can take more classes. It's a no-brainer. So this truly is an exciting opportunity for California. This will be one of the transformational items and one of the most important votes that all lawmakers will take this year in the budget to fund our plan for a debt-free college in California. And again, we're on our way. This won't happen overnight, but this will provide us about a third of the way to get there, and we can do this fully in the coming years. You know, across the country, they're talking about reducing and relieving individual student debt. We're trying to make it so it doesn't even happen in the first place. We're talking about how we can make community college free. Yeah, that'd be nice if community college was free, but more importantly, if students can graduate without debt, that's just as equally as important. So with that, I know it's hot out here. You guys are in the shade back there, I'm not. So I'm gonna bring up a few of our student leaders so they can share their perspective on why this is such an important effort for California. And before I do that, I will note that the three legislators that are partners with us on this, Senator Leyva, Assembly members Medina, Santiago, and Cervantes, they're all on planes coming here. One plane got canceled, but they want to make sure, they told me the show goes on, and we're here in unity today. So with that, let me bring up our community college student. we have Ms. Galianto.
Hopefully I can reach this mic because I'm actually a little bit shorter than I'm used to. But good morning, or good afternoon, everybody. My name's Jen Galinato. I formerly served as the student trustee for the Los Rios Community College District, and I had the honor of doing so throughout the most unprecedented time throughout the state of California. As a student myself, I had the opportunity as the sitting student trustee to oversee and work with anywhere between 75,000 to 80,000 students across 4 different districts. The Los Rios Community College District in itself is the second largest district throughout the state of California, with the first being Los Angeles Community College District. Throughout my term, I heard a multitude of stories from students similar to me who also were facing a multitude of challenges throughout their academic journey. I'd like to specifically shout out one that I heard during the Board of Trustees in May, which was a student who was using their financial aid to pay her expenses as a first-generation student from Mexico. Not only that, I heard of stories from other students, many of them being single parents trying to fund their education. This is not something that is unheard or uncommon. It is something that we're seeing massively throughout the system. Not only throughout my tenure as the student trustee for the Los Rios Community College District, I also had the opportunity to serve anywhere between 1.8 to 2.1 million students throughout the state of California in my other role on the statewide level. Now, these stories to me broke my heart. I wish there was something that I could do more for them. I wish I could give them whatever was in my pocket to fund their education, because I knew these students were passionate, driven, and wanting to get an education, wanting to get a degree, wanting to go further and about. Many of them had dreams of being the first in their family to get a degree. Many of them had dreams to provide better for their children, especially single parents that I heard stories from, many of them which I cried over Zoom with for hours on end. I cannot tell you how many stories of students that were just wishing there was a way that they could afford college, especially within the state of California, where there are so many dreamers that wish to do so much more. And I believe in these students. And that's why I believe with Assemblymember McCarty, as well with his constituents and his colleagues, we can truly make this happen for our students. We serve anywhere between 1.8 to 2.1 million students within the California Community College District, and many of those students there are 116 colleges, including the 4 here within the Los Rios Community College District. Those 75,000 to 80,000 students, I believe we can make it happen. I believe in us having debt-free college. This is not something that I see as just a dream, but a reality for so many students like me, like many first-generation students, like many single parents, many examples that I wish I could give you all, but I simply don't have the time for. But simply, if you talk to a student and hear their story, you can hear why we need to make community college and other colleges throughout the CSU and the UC system also debt-free as well. I hope that you join me and so many of my other fellow student leaders to make this not just a dream, but a reality for so many of these students. I believe in us. I believe in this happening, because I know for many of us, this is not just a dream. I know that we can make not just our community colleges, but our CSUs and our UCs debt-free for students like me. I am proud to say that I'm the daughter of 2 immigrants, a first-generation community college student, and also now a proud byproduct of the California community college system, as well as getting ready to enter into the CSU system. But I know that it is not entirely affordable for me and my family. I have 2 parents who work a full-time job. I also took up a job as well because I knew the cost of college would be far too much for my family to bear, especially when I transferred. So let's make this a reality, because I know we can make it happen, and I know this will be not just a dream for me, but for so many other students. So thank you, and thank you for your time. And thank you, Assemblymember, for your efforts.
Thank you for being the voice of our community college students. And with that, let's bring up the leader of our 2 million community college system, as well as a regent on the University of California, Chancellor Eloy Oakley. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member McCarty, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sacramento City College. It's great to be here. Buenos dias. It's always a pleasure to be on one of our 116 colleges, but it's particularly a pleasure to be here, right now, at Sac City College, you know, the heart of the Los Rios District, one of our oldest and most distinguished community colleges in the 116 college system. As mentioned, I want to also thank the members of the legislature who are fighting for our students. Certainly Member McCarty, Chair Medina, Member Cervantes, Member Santiago, and our very distinguished and and someone who has always pulled for the California community colleges, Senator Connie Leyva. We're here because we know our students face a huge challenge. We've known this for years. We've known this for decades. And our students keep telling us that they're facing greater and greater challenges. After the Great Recession, we noticed and we were told that our students are suffering from housing insecurity, that they're suffering from food insecurity. And the pandemic has only made that challenge worse. And inflation continues to eat into every penny that they make. So improving, reforming, having an equitable financial aid system, an equitable Cal Grant system is key to their future, and their future is our future. Our future is Californians, because when you look behind me, you see the face of California right here. You see the face of our nation right here. These are the people that are going to fix our mess. So we need to make sure that they complete their college education in a timely manner and debt-free. We don't need a whole cadre of indentured servants. We need to make sure that they can build wealth the day that they walk out of college. Not that they're paying back debt for generations, but that they're building wealth for themselves and for their families. So I'm happy to be here, happy to partner with Marlene Garcia and the California Student Aid Commission, happy to partner with the members of the legislature, and happy to partner with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor Gavin Newsom laid out a very bold and key milestone for the state of California. He asked us to ensure that 70% of all working age adults in this state achieve a college credential in the next decade. And so we need to work together to make sure that happens. And we need to make sure that they have the financial support that they need in order to make that a reality. So fixing financial aid, creating a more equitable Cal Grant system, particularly for our lowest income students, and by and large, our lowest income students are California community college students. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to particularly thank the students for their leadership. Without them, we wouldn't be sitting here talking. Without the leadership of the Student Senate of the California community colleges and the student leaders who have dedicated themselves to informing the public, to informing our leaders about the challenges that they face, we wouldn't be here without them. So I want to thank all the leaders of the Student Senate. In particular, I want to thank President Angelica Campos for her leadership on this issue. And together, I know we can make this happen. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for fighting for our students in all of our systems. And I appreciate your support, and let's get this done.
Thank you. Next, we want to bring up CSU student leader Samantha. Come on up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Samantha Elizalde, and I am a proud product of the CSU. I graduated last May with my bachelor's degree in political science from Sacramento State, Stingers up. But I wish I could say this was my first time wearing this shirt and holding this sign. We've been fighting for this for a long 4 years, even more than that, knowing that college affordability is so important and is needed to succeed not only in the CSU but throughout the college system. I served 3 years in the Associated Students Incorporated, fighting for these things because students across the CSU system deal with these things. 40% of CSU students have reported food insecurity, and 10% of CSU students have reported housing insecurity. That means that they're either couch surfing, don't have a home, are living in their cars, and when it comes to food insecurity, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from, or are eating in ways that is not nutritious. And as you know, we need food to feed the brain and to study hard. So I think it's so important that we recognize these things and fight for these things as we are today. I am a recipient of Cal Grant, and I understand how the system is outdated. I had to work a part-time job while also being a student leader, and I understand that it didn't cover housing, food, transportation, emergencies, and it's even stronger when there's students with dependents or students that have just other needs that they need to pay for. It's critical that we attend to these needs of the students and expand the Cal Grant eligibility and pass the Cal Grant eligibility or Cal Grant equity framework for the next generations of leaders, the next generations of our workforce, and overall invest in a system that is here to make students succeed. I want to give a huge thank you to Assembly Members McCarty and Medina and Senator Leyva, as well as the legislative leadership for prioritizing this critical expansion that we help debt-free college and really graduate students in for without debt. We are extremely grateful that the Governor Newsom and the legislator have taken extraordinary steps to increase higher education access, but now it's time to get students across the finish line to achieve their dreams and graduate debt-free. We believe that the Cal Grant eligibility equity framework, is a way to do this, and hope to see it included in the 2022-2023 budget. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samantha. Let's next bring up Alfonso, the voice for UC students. Alfonso?
Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Alfonso Gomez and I'm with the UC Student Association and a senior here at UC Davis. I am here today because I have been a recipient of Cal Grants for the past 5 years. If it wasn't for my Cal Grants, I never would have been able to afford any of my tuition costs, including books or classes, at my community college or here at UC Davis. I never would have even thought of college as a plan for me and my future if this kind of financial aid was not available. Without Cal Grants, I never would have attended college in the first place because I come from a family of 3 kids and a single mom making less than $15,000 annually. My family and I would have never been fortunate enough to feel secure in our financial lives. I would have just gone straight into the workforce to help my mom with rent and food for our apartment like my older siblings did. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for Cal Grants. With that being said, I still needed to take out loans and have a job in order to pay for non-tuition costs that Cal Grants do not cover, like food, gas and maintenance costs for my cars, my apartment, rent, and car insurance, and much more. I had to pay for my own car that took me to school every day. And after being hit with a life-threatening illness, spending 4 months in the hospital and 6 months in recovery at home, college would have just been a daydream if I didn't receive the financial aid that I did. This kind of funding didn't just save my future, but it helped me create one. This legislative budget plan would be the make it or break it decision for thousands of low-income students to come in the near future. Passing a budget like this will be a life preserver, as it has potential to lift people like me out of poverty into the future middle class. It has the potential to close persistent racial equity gaps in college completion and establish a 70% college attainment level. Although I am graduating this year and the budget wouldn't affect me personally, it still has the potential to increase thousands of future workers' salaries by $30,000 annually and more than $1 million across their entire professional careers. This budget plan will help build the next generation of innovators and leaders, making for a stronger, better California overall. I urge the California legislature and the Governor Newsom to adopt these investments into the 2022-23 state budget. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alfonso. Lastly, we're going to bring up our leader with the California Student Aid Commission, Marlene Garcia.
Thank you, Assemblymember McCarty, Santiago, Medina, and Senator Leyva, and all the legislative leadership who have made creating a path to a debt-free college by supporting the Cal Grant Equity Framework in this year's budget negotiations and making it a top-tier issue to address. I also want to thank our co-authors who've been working around the clock to get us to where we are now. We are so close to the finish line. And our co-sponsors on this legislation and this budget proposal are the Campaign for College Opportunity, the Unite LA, and of course, the Fixed Financial Aid Coalition, which is the students representing all segments of higher education. I have been working in the legislature for several decades now, and I have never seen the discipline, the focus, the passion that these students have maintained over the course of 2 to 3 years. irrespective of how much market share their segment may or may not get in terms of increases in Cal Grants, they're doing it for the good of the whole. So these students are true leaders, and the kind of leadership that we want to see graduate and enter our workforce and lead us in our state and our country. So you've heard the students talk about their lived experiences. They're real. I've been hearing these stories. I've been with the Student Aid Commission now for 3 years, and I hear about students eating only once a day to stretch their budgets. And now, if the pandemic wasn't enough, they're hit with these incredible, extraordinary price increases that affect everything from consumer goods to food to gas, and they have a fixed budget. So the reality is that going to college today is hard for those students who don't have the means by their parents or are independent, raising families of their own. So the Cal Grant is the most significant source of financial aid for them. And last year, we're so grateful that the legislature, led by Assemblymember McCarty and others, and the governor, they made huge investments in the Cal Grant program for community college students. And that was a big deal, but the job's not done. We still have to streamline and remove the remaining equity barriers that continue to leave far too many students out of the Cal Grant program. So even though we've done a lot, we have more to go, but the Cal Grant Equity Framework is that surefire way to help students, to give them some predictability about how much financial aid they're going to get, to make it easier to understand and navigate this complex financial aid process, and most importantly, to remove the remaining equity barriers that have no bearing on their financial need. They've been used in the past to ration resources. What we know is that now is the time, and we're urging the legislature to join with our champions who've been amazing in keeping this issue at the forefront, and urge the governor to take that final step and make this a reality for students in California. This is history making. We'd be the only state in the country that offers this kind of comprehensive benefit from the lowest income to middle class students. A recent study showed that for every $1 invested in the Cal Grant Equity Framework, the state will benefit from $26 on that investment in 5 years. And in 5 years, 100,000 more college students will graduate based on this framework and will enter the workforce. This is a win-win for students and the economy. And I urge you all to join. Let's really stay focused and disciplined and continue the call for this game-changing opportunity, and that will completely put California on a path to success and to realizing the governor's bold and innovative 70% college attainment rate by the year 2030. We will get there if we support the Cal Grant Equity Framework as a pathway, as one of the most powerful pathways to a debt-free college. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is, as was mentioned earlier, our chance for here in California to do something that no state has done to make college debt-free. This is not just a pipe dream. Last year we had a significant bill on the governor's desk. We funded about half of it in the budget. I know some of our students were disappointed at the end that we got the bill vetoed, but we said, you know what? The glass is half full. We're going to come back next year. And the governor encouraged us, come back next year in the state budget process. We're here today. You know what the state budget says? $98 billion in a surplus. Most of it is one time, we get it, but there's some ongoing money to make some transformational investments, and I would argue this is one. You know, decades ago, students could go to college, get grants for tuition, and graduate, go into the workforce. They could start a family, buy a home, not have to worry about being saddled with $20,000 and $30,000 in debt. What does that mean? All that debt pressure, it means students take longer to graduate. That means even more debt. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in the opposite direction that we want to go. So we have an opportunity here today. What does this plan consist of? 4 main elements. It expands free community college for all full-time students here in California. It expands community college access awards, giving them a little supplemental money to pay for things like books and transportation and food and housing. The two biggest things we have here is expanding the Cal Grant program to help the students who are left on the sidelines because they just miss out. There are about 150,000 students, predominantly community college students, which would be eligible for the Cal Grant now. The last piece is expanding the middle class scholarship, which helps families who are low income, but also by definition, middle income families who aren't rich, who have a difficult time paying for college. So this will give extra awards for those students to get a college degree without being saddled in debt. We have these elements in the state budget. The Senate and the Assembly agree. We're calling on our leaders to continue to fight with the administration to make this a reality. We do have the support of our Speaker Rendon, our President Pro Tem Atkins, as well as our budget chairs Ting and Skinner. So we're certainly on our way. So this is a really big deal for California, and I thank our students from our UC to our community college to our CSU students, as well as Marlene mentioned, the advocates from the Campaign for College Opportunity, the Fixed Financial Aid Coalition, TICAS, and all the others to put this issue on the front lines. So before I potentially answer some questions, Assemblymember Santiago, who couldn't make it, asked me if we would say a few words in Spanish because he guarantees that people in LA are watching this live, want to know what's going on. So Samantha is going to help me in a second with my Pocho Español. Queremos decir que estamos aquí para luchar por los estudiantes de California. Este es el tiempo para el gobernador y el state legislature para trabajar para el futuro de California como estos estudiantes aquí con nosotros. Samantha?
¿Dices bien? No, yo soy estudiante del California State University System y este es para no nomás mí, pero los estudiantes del futuro. Tenemos que dar más dinero a estos colegios o estos estudiantes para que puedan ir a colegio y no salir con deuda y que podemos dar más acceso a estos colegios y que pueden salir sin deuda. So, podemos pasar a B1746 y por favor, Gobernador Newsom, pasa en el state budget. Sorry, it's a little Spanglish, but you get what I said.
Perfecto.
You did a little bit better than me.
Gracias, Samantha. Gracias. Okay, students, when I say debt-free, you say college. Debt-free? College. Debt-free? College. When I say college, you say debt-free. College. Debt-free. College. Debt-free. All right, let's make it happen, California. Okay. You have any questions? Sure. Well, the average student debt for a UC and CSU graduate is somewhere in the 20,000s. I think the mid 20,000 range. The number of students, I don't know. Do we know, Marlene, how many students? Too many. That's all I know that. And so the real deal is that a lot of students are told, hey, you get good grades, we'll get you a Cal Grant to pay for college. That's true. We have over 500,000 students who get this financial aid that pays, but they don't realize at the end of the day they get free tuition, but they have massive debt because the costs of college aren't just tuition. There are all these other costs. So that's what we're here to address. There's the average debt load, which is north of $20,000 for UC and CSU graduates. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Want to do a group picture? Here we go. Come here, Marlene and Eloy and President. Here comes I'm kind of short. I know you're hot with that. We'll go. Thank you. Do we move this thing?
Renee, take
Jeff?
some of me.
Jeff, you want to move this thing? Yeah, okay.
Thank you.